When most people hear the word mantra, they picture a psychological anchor, a repetitive phrase used to focus the mind during meditation, or a mystical incantation designed to conjure a specific worldly outcome. The Trika school operates on a different premise. The text defines the phenomenon simply: Chittam mantra. Mantra is consciousness. This premise was formalized in the esoteric schools of Kashmir Shaivism between the 9th and 11th centuries. Spoken letters and sounds function as condensed, ontologically active algorithms, the base code of reality expressed through phonic energy. The mantra operates as a concentrated instrument of intense thought, bypassing ordinary discursive reasoning, or vikalpa. The practitioner executes a precise command, manipulating the fundamental source code of existence. This raises an immediate philosophical problem. If a syllable is inherently made of the absolute, why does it hail to grant instant liberation to an uninitiated person who happens to pronounce it? The texts solve this by introducing the requirement of mantravirya, or potency. Acoustic sound remains inert without a precise, deliberate fusion between the mantra's inherent energy and the practitioner's active, reflective awareness, known as vimarsa. When this specific state of awareness is achieved, the boundary between the practitioner and the mantra dissolves. To trigger this enlivened state, the practitioner executes a specific somatic and phonic mechanism called Uccara. Uccara is a mapped vertical ascent. It is the deliberate conjunction of phonic vibration with vital breath, moving sequentially upward along the spinal axis. Understanding this science of the word requires a dissection of the 12-stage Uccara of the primordial syllable, Om, using the blueprint laid out in the Svachanda Tantra. The Uccara matrix tracks 3 specific variables: the phonetic stage of the syllable, its location within the subtle body, and its theoretical duration, measured in morae. The process initiates at the heart chakra. Here, the practitioner utters the phoneme A, corresponding to the deity Brahma, held for a duration of 1 full mora. Vital breath forces the energy upward to the throat chakra, governed by Vishnu. The phoneme shifts to U, and its duration drops to exactly 1/2 of a mora. Continuing the ascent, the energy strikes the palate, associated with Rudra. The phoneme becomes the nasal M, and the duration drops again to 1/4 of a mora. A strict mathematical decay governs this system. As the physiological locus of the energy moves higher, the duration of the sound halves at every stage. This halving indicates the transition from an audible acoustic event to an internal movement of consciousness. The energy crosses a threshold as it moves to the Ajna chakra, the space between the eyebrows. The practitioner abandons empirical speech, leaving only an intense nasal resonance, or bindu, held for 1/8 of a mora. It enters the upper forehead region, logging 2 rapid sequential stages: Ardha at 1/16 of a mora, followed by Nirodhini at 1/32. This fading resonance is defined as nada, which correlates to the high cosmic reality of Sadashiva. It is physically impossible for the human vocal cords to produce a distinct acoustic sound for 1/32 of a mora. These fractional flashes of time represent a phenomenological map, acting as a biological timer tracking the divine ascent of consciousness, processing its own reality. The thrust of the Uccara reaches the Brahmarandra, the crown of the head. The utterance is absorbed into pure energy, logged as Sakti, at 1/64 of a mora. It pierces through Vyapani, defined as the all-pervading great void. Finally, the energy arrives at Samana. This is the highest boundary of the mapped chart, a stage where pure energy and potentiality rest in perfect balance. Even at this altitude, the text issues a warning. A yogin at Samana remains caught within the pasajala, the endless net of cosmic bondage. The matrix takes the practitioner to the edge of their cognitive architecture. To transcend the net, the logic of the map itself must be broken. This requires a radical breakthrough. The practitioner's energy bursts past the physical boundary of the crown, projecting into an empty space 12 fingers above. This ultimate stage is defined as Unmana, the transmental energy. The metrics dissolve at the level of Unmana. There are no phonetic letters to utter, no anatomy to track, and no duration to measure. The phonetic map self-destructs as dualistic discursive thought dissolves. The goal of this mantra was to systematically dismantle the speaker's empirical reality until only the absolute remains. This achieves a state scholars call cosmotheandrism, the integration of the human body, the deity, and the cosmos. The practitioner's localized consciousness has successfully merged with the mathematical decay of the syllable Om. By forcing that phonic energy to ascend the somatic axis, the practitioner has effectively run the emanation of the universe in reverse. The 36 tattvas, the layers of material and psychological reality, have been collapsed back into their source through this phonic ladder. These mantras serve as internal algorithms, engineered to fold the architecture of the cosmos back into the silent void of consciousness.